Welcome back to another episode. I am your host, Stephen Rochester, and today I have a very, very special guest. This gentleman here has been in the media space from the streets of Jane and Finch, now in the boardrooms calling shots. Today I'm graced with the presence of Mr. Dwayne DukeyDukez, Holness. How you doing, brother?
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm really proud of everything that you're doing too. I've been following your journey as well, and it's good to see our peers like move in a upward direction, especially where we come from, right? So I'm proud of you. I just wanted to give you your flowers right here.
Appreciate you,
make sure. Yeah.
All right, so let's get into it. There's a few things I want to discuss with you today. You're a business owner, first and foremost, content creator. You have a team of how many so far?
It fluctuates. It fluctuates depending on the production, but we act more as an agency.
Right.
So we have a bunch of creatives.
And we're talking about Corex.
And we're talking about Corex Creative. So
Right.
Corex Creative is a digital media agency. So we have a team of people. We have a roster of people that the size depends on the project. Like, let's say when we did LCBO project, we had about 40 people on our team. But let's say if we go to something like Canadian Tire, we might have 3 or 4 people to get the job done.
And you have these guys on call. Everybody's in a group
everybody's
chat.
on call. Everybody. I tried doing the. How
does that work? Is it a round robin? Who gets to work first? Am I pissed
you know what the
because
thing
I didn't
is,
get called?
and this is it works just like how anything works. Like if you can stay in the front of people's minds, you get the job first.
Right.
That's just how life goes.
If you're sleeping, if you're busy this day.
Yeah, if you can't make it, if there's always a problem, if you're not a problem solver, then you're gonna realize that you're not gonna get a lot of work done.
Right. So show up, be on time.
Show up and show out.
Show up and show out.
Yeah.
Okay. So going back to that, you have this company that you're getting these gigs. How are you entering the corporate space? Right. I think that's anybody that's followed your journey, you do it at a very high level. It's tough to even get in the room to speak to the creative director of these companies or the marketing manager to figure out I can bring something to the table. I could probably do it a little better than you're doing it yourself. How do you get in that door? How do you do it anyways?
Yeah, I always, and I had a conversation earlier today. I'm like, I'm not the best at this thing, right? I'm not the best videographer. I'm not the best graphic designer. I'm not the best photographer. I just communicate.
Right.
And when you get to a level of on corporate levels, it's about communication and it's about accessibility. A lot of creatives fumble when we can't get a hold of you for 5, 6, 7 hours.
Right.
A lot of creative fumble when you can't communicate, you can't negotiate. So with me, I've always found the importance of strong communication and being able to deliver, over deliver.
I caught a point, which is half the battle as especially an entrepreneur, negotiation, right? How to negotiate your actual rate for your projects. How do you do that? How do you?
That's a
it's
tough
one. Right? And you see that all the time. How do I actually tell someone I cost this much, and maybe it's not per hour, maybe it's per project basis.
Yeah.
Right. How do you figure that out?
I think that's a good question, and that's like the $1 million question. One thing that helped me is to first give yourself an hourly rate,
right,
and then calculate the amount of time spent from research and development. Don't miss out on the line items, the research and development, to the construct of the treatment, to the meetings, to the travel, to the equipment rental, to all these things. You have to put that in your ask, in what you're asking for. You have to be mindful of your time. So nothing is free. Even that half an hour meeting, log it.
So do you use like Excel? How are you logging?
Yeah.
Right?
I would like put it in my invoice. Right. Like research and development, this might take me 10 hours.
Right.
Developing a treatment, meetings might take 3 hours. So being able to first understand what you're worth. I think this is the biggest challenge with creatives and people in this space, is find out what you're worth, whether it's $50 an hour, whether it's $70 an hour.
Sometimes people are unrealistic with what they think they're worth. Sometimes,
But you also got to look at your work,
right,
and see where people have to be honest with the work that they do. And if you're not looking at your work, if you're looking at your work and you just set up one light and you had one camera and the editing is
don't charge me $1,500.
Don't charge me $1,500.
Come on, cut it out.
So you have to know yourself in that area, because you can shoot yourself in the foot.
Right, overcharging.
You can overcharge and shoot yourself in the foot. For me, don't come to me because I'm charging $5.
And you can shoot yourself in the foot by undercharging as well.
Exactly. So the thing is, the trick is, like, people will look at you funny if you charge less.
Right.
And people will look at you funny if you charge more.
So it's finding that sweet spot.
It's finding the sweet spot.
Got it. All right. So moving on to that negotiation question, right? You lock in a rate with a corporation, right? You tell them it's going to take about 3 months to turn around this project, right? Usually, is it around 3 months?
It depends on what it is. So yeah, it depends on what it is. We offer, so this is Corex, and Corex, we specialize in public service announcements, internal videos, training videos, e-learning videos, corporate event videos. So a lot of this happens. The timing is all different. Events. We did an event for Canadian Tire yesterday. Quick in and out. But like what we do also is we've taken a step further and we've set them up on a retainer.
Right.
And this is the level that we need to get to, is the retainer, so that you can project what your year is going to look like. And
that retainer is, when they have a project, they have an idea in mind, they call you up. And
yeah. And then for me, I would say, in order for us to work, like, let's do a six project deal.
Right. Lock it in for 2 years.
Lock it in, give them charge them a little less than the average, and then we're locked in for 6. We know exactly how much we're going to get over a certain period of time.
Yeah.
And it makes it easier because, being a creative is hard, and you want to find structure within your creative.
So let's talk about that, right? So, you're successful in what you do right now, but I'm sure, on the way up, it took some time. It took some stress. It took some patience. It took some XYZ. How was that on the way up, right? I'm sure there was too many challenges that you can name off right now, but, give me a few of those.
Yeah.
As an entrepreneur specifically, honestly, it's the road less traveled, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's entrepreneurship is scary. It's lonely. And you're misunderstood all the time, right? You have to sacrifice a lot of time with yourself to really be clear on what it is you're offering, what is your value. So a lot of the challenges that I have was like feeling like I wanted to give up. Because money wasn't coming in. Were you working? Did you have a 9 to 5 while you're chasing your dreams? So my journey is a little unique, right? I never had a 9 to 5, but I was always in entertainment. So when I grew up, when I was 16 years old, I discovered the world of acting, and I did theater. And then from theater, I started to be So you loved drama class in high school? Oh, I was top notch in the drama class, of course. So I ended up getting an agent too that put me on set for movies and TV shows. So I was like a background performer. Right. So that would pay. I was like in grade 7, like. You get a little check. The newest Nikes I'm coming to school with. In your pockets, how much was that check? Yo, I would leave with like in grade 7, I would leave with like 2 bills. Nice. What else do you need? What else do I need? Right. I'm not tripping. Right. So I came to school with the freshest stuff because I was on set, and I was able to just kind of like utilize that to also discover my deep passion of like video creating, right? Because we know when you go on set, like you're spending hours sitting in the waiting room. Right. So that wait time is the most crucial time in life. Like the wait time is what's gonna make you. The stuff that people don't see is what's gonna make you. People spend too much time focusing on what people see. Like the reason why people get successful is about the work that they do behind closed doors. Right. So that wait time is wasted sometimes. It's wasted sometimes, but I mean, it depends, right? Because sometimes you have to just be in incubation stage, and these are the challenges. When I was growing up, is just being able to figure out what it is that I'm selling. Yeah. You know, what is it that I'm selling?
You are your product essentially.
Yeah,
right?
and what can I be confident about? There was a time where I was like, people think I've always been this confident or whatever, but I was shy as hell. And I didn't speak as much. And that's because I didn't know what I wanted. And the more you know what you want, the more you are sure about yourself, the more confidence that comes with it, because you've done it a million times and you can talk from a place of experience. So I think the time where I struggled was just trying to find out who or what this thing what was creating, and just being confident in myself as a entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And then money, of course. Like there was times where I didn't know.
Tellus is knocking on your door. They're ringing you down.
I didn't know how bills were gonna get paid.
Right.
And I used to stress. I'm like, man, let me put this down and go get a job.
Right.
You know, the amount of times that I've said that was
sure.
incredible. But you know what? God's good, because at the last moment in crunch time, a check arrives.
Isn't that crazy?
It's beautiful.
Right. All right. So all these checks have arrived. You're an investor. Most people may not know that.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the importance of you go through this journey, you make a name for yourself in the industry, you generate some income for yourself, and you have the smarts enough to know that I shouldn't spend this on something stupid. What should I do with this? And what made you choose?
Well, let's not get it twisted. I blew a lot of money.
I'm sure. Listen, we all have.
I
right?
blew a lot of money.
Right.
Like, it's crazy, because like me, I love dressing, I love shopping. I blow bags,
Right.
you know, and it feels good. But you get to a certain age where you realize that life's about a lot more. Life's about stability. And the biggest thing that I've always wanted and I prayed for is just like, give me stability within this messy dream that I have. And the way I was able to do that was to, one, increase my value, but then use the profits that I'm getting to create investing opportunities that can work for me.
Right.
And a lot of us don't. I mean,
what do you mean by that? You can't breeze over what it means to have your investment work for you. What does that mean?
So making your investments work for you. First, let me say. So first, invest in your dream. Let your dream get profitable, and take the profits and invest it into vehicles that can bring you a high return. So whether that is real estate, which is something that I've gotten into in the last 4 years, and then even stuff like stocks, things that companies that you can own on the stock market that will bring you back returns. So
they'll pay you out quarterly.
They'll pay you out quarterly.
Right.
They give you dividends. But these are the things that, sadly, our generation and our culture is very financially illiterate. And we look at money as a bad thing.
Yeah.
And I think we need
Instead of a tool.
Instead of a tool. Right. Money is a tool. If you have money, you can make yourself happier by doing everything that you love to do. Feeding the families that you want to feed. I bought my mom a house. So, being able to do nothing less. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. But you have to understand that this is a tool that is unfortunately needed in life. Yeah. So in terms of investing, it's important, and start small. I never understood that part. Start small. If you have $1, put it away.
Yeah.
Start with $1.
So your first investment, your vehicle of choice is both real estate. I'm sure stocks as well. I want to talk about the real estate side of your portfolio. So you bought your first investment property. How was that? How was that journey? How was that first? All right, I'm writing the check for X amount of dollars. I'm picking this layout. I'm about to do it. How did that feel?
When you have good people in your circle that you can lean on, it makes the process easier. I was thankful enough to be working with a development company. Shout out M5V Developments, my mentor, Sherrard McQueen.
They're out in New York the other day.
Yeah,
living life with the
they're
Earn Your
living it up
Leisure
with
guys.
Earn Your
Yeah,
Leisure and all
yeah.
these
Big
guys, man.
stuff.
I'm so super proud of them.
1,000.
But like, they helped me get my first property. And at first, I always felt like, as Black people, we feel like certain things are out of reach. And I felt like getting a property was out of reach. Like I don't have enough.
What age were you when you first? I don't want to age you.
Yeah, no. It was 4 years ago.
Okay.
4 years ago. So I'm telling people, like, before 4 years, after 4 years, 5 years ago, I didn't know nothing about saving.
Okay, so you're new to this.
I'm new to this.
Got it.
I'm new to this. I never had a stock portfolio.
Yeah.
I never had investments.
But you got educated.
But I got educated. And being with M5V, being with Sherrod McQueen, he is a wealth of knowledge that I always call him to ask for advice. So I always said, like, yo, I want to get a property. I want to be able to afford a property. He's like, Dukes, like, yo, how much do you have? I'm like, yo, I saved up extra amount, He's like, yo, can you save up a little bit more?
Yes, I can.
And I'm like, yeah. And then he's like, okay, cool. Save up this much, come to me, and we'll make it happen. And at that time, it was 2020, so pandemic just started.
Right. Everything was shut
Everything
down.
it was still on the border. Nobody knew what was happening.
Right.
But at that time, and my mom, I was living with my mom and everything too. And I wanted to make sure my mom, because we were renting at the time. Yeah. And you know, it's like my mom had a house at one point. She lost it because of bad decisions.
Yeah.
And I always wanted her to get back into a spot. So I got some money. I went to Sherrod. I'm like, yo, I got this. He's like, all right, Dukes, let's go start looking for houses.
Now you go shopping.
Now we go shopping.
Question to that. Did you go down the path of a mortgage yet, or before you started shopping, or did you shop and then get a mortgage? How did that work?
Yeah, so we first just went to the house.
Yeah.
We went to the house.
Get inspired.
We got inspired. We looked around. Things were super expensive. We went to Brampton, went to this, we went to this. Then finally, we went to Innisfil. And then we seen a property, and it was perfect. My mom walked in, and she just loved it. And she's like, this is the one. So we're like, all right, cool. Let's do some negotiating. Mm-hmm. And the negotiating process was a lot too, like the back and forth. Like at first, the owner of the property wanted to take the stove and the fridge with her.
Right, which would make you guys have to go purchase another one. Right?
So we had to negotiate that because they had gas stove.
Yeah,
it was top of the line fridge.
They want to take it with them.
Right. But like we're like in the contract, we're like, no,
we need that stove.
Keep that in. So it was good to see the process of the negotiating of that stuff. Right. Negotiating isn't easy. So
that's the entire thing.
I commend the agents for like being able to negotiate something that is in your favor. So
their clients,
and then even the price was going up and down. Like, all right, cool. If you take this how you're gonna take this 10,000.
Now, not in your pockets. Did you get it over what we're asking, or did you get it?
I got a little bit under.
You got a little under. You got a deal.
I got a deal. So I mean, not a big deal. So the
deal is a deal.
Yeah, a deal is a deal. So it closed a little bit lower than what they were asking for.
Right.
And I was happy. We moved in. Like we got the mortgage too. The mortgage process was smooth because being with people that know the game, they could just like
they streamline the process.
Yeah, like I'm going through my second property right now and trying to get a mortgage. It's not as easy as it was before because now I'm actually seeing.
And now you're an investor rather than a first-time home buyer, right? I'm sure.
Right.
Were you part? Did you take advantage of the systems and all that stuff that they were giving out? Yeah, the incentives and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I did, and I realized like that was beautiful. I got to save some money.
Yeah.
And then I like to be a homeowner. I sat in the house and I just looked up at the ceiling and I was like, yo, thank God, because like I'm coming from Jamaica.
That's my point. Right?
You know?
Yeah.
We're coming literally from the bottom of the bottom, the belly of the pits, you know, and like my family still have nothing. And to just know that we came to Canada, my mom came to Canada, she was super strong. Mm-hmm. And she provided a life for us where she gave me the opportunity to turn it back for her in her favor.
Great. Did you guys drop 20%, 5%, 7%? 5% down. So you purchased a home in Innisfil for 5% down.
Yeah. And you know, I mean, that my mentor also advised to like, you know, try to pay as minimal down as possible.
Really?
Yeah.
People I'll speak to family members. They will always tell you, try to pay the most down so you can pay your mortgage down faster, right? Your mentor said the opposite.
Yeah.
What's that about?
Yeah. He's more about,
What was that thought process?
Yeah, he was more about saving money.
Yeah.
And return on investment. So I put 5% down 4 years ago. Let's say the property was $700,000. The next year, the property is worth 1.1.
Right.
So that's equity I can take out, regardless. So and then I have to refinance. So
essentially, it went up about $300,000, $300,000 to $400,000.
Yeah. But the goal is, I mean, why am I in a rush to pay off a mortgage?
Most of us won't. But the game is, once you do get some appreciation in your home, now you're speaking about getting a second property.
Yes.
Right. So are you looking to then refinance, pull that out?
Yep. And in order to get a portfolio, that's what you have to do, like.
So are you trying to build a portfolio now with a couple doors?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Right, okay.
Yeah, man.
Are you excited about the real estate game in that sense?
I honestly, the thing is, I haven't refinanced before, so I'm waiting to see that process.
Right.
So I'm still experiencing, right? I'm still experiencing, but I do want to have multiple properties in my name.
And you have a good team.
And I do want to have cash flow.
Yeah.
Cash flow becomes a big thing in the industry as well, where you want to be able to have the money pay for your lifestyle.
Right.
So when I do go up for when I do get a mortgage refinance,
right,
the goal is to take money from that property and invest in another property and have that build, and then continue the process of like owning property, because 90% of millionaires are made through real estate.
Now, what are your thoughts to the caveat where people say home ownership is unethical? You're developing homes and you're jacking up the rents and it's not good for the people. What are your thoughts on that?
Everybody got to live somewhere.
Everybody got to eat. I want to pick your brain on that, because it's funny. As I get the gear from Long and McQuaid, I was speaking to one of the guys there, and he was asking me, "What are you shooting?" I said, "I was shooting a real estate podcast, real estate related topics and whatnot." And he said, "I can't stand realtors because all they do is, buy houses or help people buy homes to then jack up the prices for people that can't afford it." And I said, "Okay, well, what is your thoughts on, if you're an investor, if you have $1 million right now and you want to invest it somewhere, where should you put it?" And he didn't really have a good answer for me, right?
A lot of people that don't have a good relationship with money bash money.
Right.
And that is just the point of it, because anybody in a situation to make money, they're going to want to make more money. That is just the
reality.
That's the reality of it. So in this world that we live in, there's two types of people. There's the consumers and there are the producers.
Yeah.
So which side would you rather be on?
I know what side I want to be on.
And we'll leave it as that.
Right.
And
we're not arguing with the other side.
We're not going to argue over it. It's just, there's two types of people. There's the people that produce things, and there are the people that consume things. Are you doing more consuming than producing?
Yeah.
Or are you doing more producing than consuming? And then you'll know where to go after that.
Right. So your next thing is, you have a next property you're looking. Do you know where you're going? Do you know where to look? Do you know what you're thinking about? What about internationally? I know you do some international stuff as well.
Yeah. So right now,
you were just in Africa the other day, no?
Yeah, I was, bro. I'm traveling all the time.
You're a traveling man, bro.
Yeah. For me, the world is my oyster.
You're damn right.
So, but yeah, right now I'm closing on a property in Barrie.
Yeah.
Which I'm hoping to rent out and use that as an investment property.
Yeah.
And then from there, my next mission is to get a property in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because my long-term...
Whereabouts, where would you go?
You know what?
Home specifically, or more tourist locations? It's an investment property. Is it an investment property, or is it?
It's gonna be a property where I can spend months there and like
Airbnb the rest,
or
whatever. Yeah.
Because my long-term goal is to live in Jamaica.
Right.
So I want to prepare myself 10 years out.
And most of our parents that can afford it, they usually work here all their lives, and then they buy a home and go home.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
My mother just bought a place out there as well, so it's beautiful. But my question is, would you use it? She has a place that she's not using. She doesn't want anybody in it, right?
Yeah.
Would you rent it out? Are you comfortable with managing the property then? right?
I would definitely rent it out, especially if it's my first property in Jamaica.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be the property that I spend the rest of my life in.
No.
So it'll be something to kind of like have some skin in the game,
Right.
and then
Have an international property, maybe get some tax benefits from it. I don't know.
We don't know.
Who know?
But yeah, I mean, investments is so important. Like, if you're not investing, start now.
Please.
What
are you using? So you mentioned you have real estate. You also have stocks, cryptos, the digital assets. Are you I don't want to, you don't have to tell people what you're in, but you usually voice what's winning for you. Of course,
man. Of course.
You voice what's winning for you, right?
No, honestly, like, stocks is cool, and the thing is,
it's fun when you're up, though.
It's fun.
It's even fun when you're down too,
bro.
Sometimes.
It's just fun when you know how to make money.
Right.
Let's just put it like that. If someone teaches you how to fish, you can fish for the rest of your life. Yeah. I can wake up today, say, I got $1,000. Let me look at some stocks. Let me put it in this vehicle for a month, and let me come back out with $1,500. Right. Let me make $500 just off of that.
Yeah.
And that is the beauty of knowledge, and wanting to be able to be financially literate is literally, you can take what you currently have and double it within a month if you understand the game.
Right. So how are you getting educated these days? How are you staying in front of it? Bro, there's so much. There's so much.
There's so much.
Too much.
There's so much.
Right.
So, but the thing is, it's always about learning the fundamentals. Right. Just learn the fundamentals for yourself. If I say, if someone tells me to check out a stock, I'm not gonna just jump and say I'm gonna buy it. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna actually check it out for a week or two. Yeah, I'm gonna look at it for a week or two. I'm gonna see how it bounces. Like, I could say, invest in Nvidia. Right now, that's booming. I'm up like almost 200%. I ain't on trip.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
It was 3 years ago. It was 3 years ago when people were kind of talking about it. And
I had it 3 years ago.
It was a slow roast until it got.
I had it 3 years ago. Yeah. But even that's the thing. I have a crazy story with Nvidia. Like, that went down. I bought it in 2021. I bought it at its highest peak, and since I got it, it went down.
With everything else.
So I rode the wave, but you have to have a strong stomach for this stuff.
And that goes back to you knowing the fundamentals.
Right.
You know it goes down, but you also know it goes up.
Right.
So if you know it's down and you're currently in the down motion, the best thing to do, if you have a couple more bucks, you might want to throw it back in.
But you're scared at that point.
But you're scared at that point because you just lost.
You just lost like 80. I'm down
like
8%
of my. Right. So it is scary. I get it. Right. But if you know the fundamentals and you're not moving off of emotions, then you can then reap the rewards 3 years later. Right. So that goes to tell.
Yeah. But the goal, like, to look at any stock, you like, it usually tracks day to day.
Yeah.
Zoom out 5 years. See how that looks.
Yeah. It'll tell you. History will tell you.
History will tell you. So, but yeah. So I think.
What else do you like? What else do you like? Give me one more. What else do you like out there?
AMD is good. AMD, obviously your big ticket stocks like Apple.
The Teslas.
Google.
You still in the Teslas?
I'm not into Teslas no more.
How are you not into Teslas?
Tesla bought my Tesla.
What?
So, being able to like leverage things, bro. Like, it's honestly, I wish our people would take financial literacy serious.
Yeah. As much as sports.
As much as video games. Yeah. This is what can give you financial freedom.
What about crypto? Were you in the whole crypto wave as well?
I was into crypto. I had some crypto as well. I didn't have Bitcoin.
Yeah.
But I had like XRP and
all the other coins that everybody's telling you about.
All the other craziness. But I pulled out a lot of stuff out of that.
Yeah.
And focused more on real estate.
Why? At that moment, why did you make that decision?
It's still new. I think it's still...
Which is my point. It is still new. So why did you just say, it's not for me right now?
Yeah, because honestly, I put a lot of money in there and I lost a lot of money.
You're like,
and I'm like,
bad taste.
I can't really predict these things right now. And
it's not stable enough.
It's not stable enough right now. And then when it's time, when it does stabilize, I don't have a problem coming in a little bit higher.
Right. You're not losing at any time,
Yeah,
right?
if I know, there's one thing, like, the trading is one thing, investing is the next thing. Trading is saying, I'm going to put this in for a week and take it out. Investing is saying, I'm going to put this in for the next 10 years.
Right.
So when I'm going to invest, I'm looking like, I'm not even looking at
5 years, 10 years.
I'm not looking at it for now.
Right. True enough. Okay. So what's next for you? What do you got going on? I know you're always cooking up something in the background. I definitely know.
I'm always investing in myself.
Yeah.
I'm always investing in the growth of my company, and it's an exciting time because now I'm learning systems and structures, and just trying to just create a company that I can pass down. Because this is, if we're talking about investments, your dream is an investment too. And in order for your dream to be sustainable, you have to commit hours and hours and hours to making sure that it can walk by itself.
Right.
And
you want to be hands on, but kind of hands off.
The goal is to be self-efficient.
Right.
The goal is to be able to walk away. And so there's different types of people. There's the employees, there's the self-employed, there's the business owner, and then there's the investor. So the goal is to be the business owner where the business just runs, and then invest
in other things.
So I mean, I see myself shooting videos for the rest of my life, but I don't see myself like
more documentary style.
More stuff, more
long tail
stuff. More.
What about movies? Are you gonna look into the movies kind of
eventually? But I'm more into documentaries.
Right.
And documentaries also give me a chance to explore the depth of people and the individualism that people have in this world, and just the uniqueness of a subject. So I see myself traveling and just sort of like telling stories and just like, just living. You were
doing a lot of community, giving back at one point. Are you still involved in communities doing stuff for the kids? Are you looking to do anything this year? I would love to be a part of it.
Well, community is my backbone.
Right.
It's Black History Month, so even just that, I have a few school gigs that I'm going to be speaking at, and I'm always, I'll never disconnect from my community. Wherever I can help out, wherever I can lend a hand, wherever I can uplift and inspire, I'm always going to be there for community. That I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for my community.
1,000%. And you want to leave a guest with any final words? I do appreciate you spending some time with us. I don't know if I got all my questions off, but honestly, we'll circle back and definitely do this again.
But honestly, what I mean, I would just tell people to just dream big. Let it scare you. Let it frighten you. Let it make you sweat. Look in the mirror and tell yourself you can do it.
Right.
And just go for it, because you are the person that's going to break the generational curses. You are the person that people are looking forward to learning from. And we all have a gift within us that needs to be unleashed at its highest level. And many people won't understand you, and that's fine. That is where people give up, is when everybody looks at you and say, oh, you think you're all this, or oh, you think you're all that. A lot of people give up at that time.
Right.
But you have to push through the noise, because those are people that know they can't do what you do.
Right.
And you have to continue to push, a smile in their face, and prove to them that, like, I am someone that you should take a bet on.
We're going to leave it right there. Thank you for coming out with that.
And cheers.
Cheers.
Love.